especially to me. For example, my mother was a slave driver. As many of you know, she used to make her own candy, especially around Christmas and Easter. All kinds of chocolate-covered bagels. She used to buy these 10-pound slabs of Hershey's chocolate that was the main ingredient for these confections she made. In order to do that, she had to melt the candy. In order to melt the candy, she needed it to be cut down into manageable pieces so she could melt them in her stovetop cauldron. So what does she do? She makes me cut the chocolate into manageable pieces so she could do her dirty work. I had to slave over mounds of chocolate many times on the young boy. What a slave driver she was. Best darn job any kid could ever think of. Yeah, my mother was mean. She used to preach about broadening my horizons. I'm like, what does that even mean? For example, she made me try liver and onions. She made me give good effort to cleaning my plate at supper time. She made me think of all those starving kids in India and China. I hated those kids in India. It wasn't my fault they were starving. As I grew up, I learned that those were lessons in what she would call broadening my horizons. You can't talk about anything unless you have tried it first. I've learned that it was a good lesson. I've tried passing it on to our children. My mother was mean. She made me do things I didn't want to do. For example, when I was in high school at Mission Court, I got a part-time after-school and weekend job as a bagger and clerk at Quaker Market on Osborne Street, which is, I believe, now Violet. It was okay as a job, but it was clear to me pretty early on that this was not the job of all jobs. I got home from school one day and it happened to be my day off from work. The phone rang and it was my boss. She needed me to come into work because somebody called in sick. I made something up and told her I had stuff to do and couldn't work that day. She stressed that she needed me, but I said no. My mom asked who was on the phone. I told her the story. She said I should call back right then and tell them I'll be there shortly. I told Mom I didn't want to go to work. I needed a break. She said employers are looking for people that are dependable, trustworthy, and I could be that person. Mom won that battle, and I did call back, and I went to work that evening. And they were very happy to see me, and over time I turned into one of their best workers and was given more responsibility and was one of the people they could always depend on in a crisis. Mom was mean. She taught me how to be dependable and hardworking. I've never been able to work any other way, and we've tried passing that trait on to our children. As I look at our children, I believe we have succeeded in doing so. Thanks to Mom being the way she was. My mother was mean. She used to embarrass me all the time. For example, she loved to sing and had a beautiful voice. We'll talk about that today. She sang in this church choir for many years. But she loved standing in her kitchen, cooking, cleaning, baking, whatever. And inevitably she would be singing. I don't mean la, la, la. I mean top of your lungs, don't miss a note, carry it forever, beautiful singing. Why was that bad? Well, very often I would be outside hanging out with my friends, doing what kids do outside, and we could hear Mom singing. For God's sake, all the neighbors far and wide could hear her. Couldn't she keep it down? It was so embarrassing. My friends would joke a little, and so would I, but as a lover of music myself, in the back of my mind, I thought it was beautiful. I thought she was good enough to have a record contract. But I never told her that. Certainly never mentioned that to my friends. But one-on-one, my mom and I would go through some of her record albums, and she turned me on to Nat King Cole, Jim Reeves, Phil Harris, Tennessee Ernie Ford, Mario Alonso, Andy Williams, and others. And I played those records when nobody was around, and developed an appreciation for music that you could sing to. My mother embarrassed me that way, carrying the tune,